this may be one of the most beautiful shot films I have ever seen. Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a beautiful day today. My name is Dalal and welcome to Popcorn and Soda, the show where we discuss all things movies, pop culture, and so much more. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on this joyous and festive Christmas day. Thank you for making me a small part of your day. NOSFERATU. For all you who remember last year, one of my most anticipated films of this year was this movie. Largely Robert Eggers. He is just one of those visionary directors, and because of him, this movie was just so high up on my most anticipated films. So, did I like this film? Did I not like this film? What did I think of it? As always, we'll start off with the positives, the things that I love, the things that didn't work for me, and ultimately who I recommend this movie for. NOSFERATU stars Bill Skarsgard as Count Orlok, Lilly Depp Rose in the film as well. You've got Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Nicholas Hoult, Willem Dafoe. This movie is stacked top to bottom. This is a loose remake / reimagining of the Dracula lore of NOSFERATU, which I believe there's been 2 previous films as well, in which we have, this movie centers around, of course, Lily Rose-Depp, Nicholas Hoult, and Count Orlok, Dracula himself, Bill Skarsgard. And the movie is about a love triangle in many ways, in which we have this character of Lily Rose Depp, who is married to Nicholas Hoult, and little does Nicholas Hoult know that she is almost binded by this curse with Count Orlok for God knows how many decades, years. It's one of those trippy tales. And that's where the movie begins. Literally the very first shot of the movie is like the contract between Lily Rose and Count Orlok, and by far it is my favorite opening scene of any movie this year. The tension, the griminess, the eeriness of it, Lily Rose's superb acting, and just, again, the cinematography and direction from Robert Eggers in that opening scene where the NOSFERATU title card comes in. I am a sucker for a good title card. Don't know why, but I've always have been. And this is one of my favorites all year, if not my favorite. So the movie kind of starts off with that, where Nicholas Hoult, who is this real estate agent, I guess, this is said back in the day, and he gets a request from his boss to go visit this person in Transylvania who wants to come live where they reside in England. I think it's England. It's somewhere in Europe. And it's an opportunity too good to pass up. Of course, Lily Rose's character, she is having dreams of Count Orlok haunting them, and she does not want Nicholas Hoult's character to go, but ultimately for someone who's young, who wants to grow a family, who wants to get a job, a high-paying job, he knows he must. And that's where we kind of find Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Emma Corrin, who happen to be friends of the couple, who let Lily Rose stay with them. And that's where the journey begins, where, bam, we see Nicholas Hoult, I think he said in the movie, like a 6-week trip to this Transylvania area. And the first half of the movie, I would say the first quarter of the movie, is largely based on his journey to Count Orlok's castle. And this is where I have to say is my favorite. I would say the first quarter, the first half of the movie is my favorite part of the entire movie because of how beautifully it's shot. And more importantly, just the eeriness, the tension, the vibes that the surrounding atmosphere creates for our main characters. So it kind of starts off there, and from there we of course have a series of events that eventually do lead to Count Orlok coming to England to reclaim his love for Lily Rose. So let's start off with the things that I really liked. And the first thing that I said at the start of this video, this is the most beautiful shot movie I've seen possibly ever. The cinematography in this movie is like a freaking painting, especially in that first half of the movie where, oh gosh, it is so beautiful to look at some of these shots, the visuals, the colors, just the castle itself. And I gotta give a big shout out to Jarin Blachki for that. He is one of Robert Eggers' continuous cinematographers. They work together on many other films as well. And he is a maestro in this film. By far, one of the best things about this movie is how it's shot. It feels like a real life painting that is moving. And that is the best way for me to describe this movie. It is a beautiful feast from the very first shot to the very last shot of this movie. So this is something that I truly feel, just for the way it's shot, needs to be watched. It needs to be watched on the big screen for that, because it amplifies it all so much more. Number two, the second thing that I really loved about this film, the cast. From Lily Rose-Depp, Nicholas Hoult, all the way to Bill Skarsgard, who plays Count Orlok, NOSFERATU himself. Superb acting. Every single one of them knock it out of the park. I love Aaron Taylor. I love Willem Dafoe. He's always in these Robert Eggers movies playing kooky roles. And he plays like this kooky professor in this movie as well. I loved it. Absolutely love their performances. They're the reasons why this movie works, because they create a realistic feeling, a realistic horror of what it would be like if you're in a situation like this, being haunted by this like vampire. I loved it. Big shout out to Lily Rose and Nicholas Hoult. I really felt that those two were the anchors of this movie. And I truly felt that those two are at the core of this movie. Although it's called NOSFERATU, of course, Bill Skarsgard has a massive role in this movie as Count Orlok. It's largely based on their love story. Third thing, Robert Eggers. I feel like we see Christopher Nolan as this mainstream maestro. He's like the box office guy of our generation, director. And I see on the opposite end of the scale, Robert Eggers, who is this like punk rock kind of director who does what he wants as he wants. And he creates very unique movies that are specific to his palette. And Christopher Nolan started off doing those as well. So I don't want to say Christopher Nolan isn't, but Robert Eggers is almost the opposite of that spectrum. And I just love what he did with this movie. It is tense when it needs to be. It is a visual feast when it needs to be. It's haunting when it needs to be. And I think that the way this movie was put together, it is such a visual eye feast. Like, more than any movie of Robert Eggers, I think this is the most beautiful shot movie. Looking from the outside in, literally, there's 50 frames in that movie that I could like hang up on my wall as posters. That's how beautiful this movie was. So those things right there are worth the price of admission by themselves, because this is filmmaking and acting at its best. Now, those are the things that I really liked about NOSFERATU. There are things that sadly didn't work for me, and I'm conflicted if this is my favorite Robert Eggers movie of all time or not, but I would say that the pacing at some points felt a little off. I found the first half of the movie to be much more enjoyable and fast-paced than the second half. Not to say I didn't like the second half, I just felt the first half was a more enjoyable movie. I felt it was a little too long. I think maybe 10-15 minutes shorter would have kind of tightened it up a bit more. I think that would have worked wonderfully. The second thing I'm going to say, and it's a love-hate thing, so I don't want to say necessarily that this is something I didn't like, but it's something that I noticed. And that's probably Count Orlok, Bill Skarsgard, and the way he looked more so than his actual performance. I love Bill Skarsgard. I'm sure you guys have seen my other videos where I think the world of this actor. I think he's so good, and he's like this modern day horror movie maestro. Whether it's whether it's Orlok, whether it's Barbarian, John Wick, he is such a good actor. And something about Orlok, I just felt wasn't there the same way as it was for maybe Pennywise. I loved his performance in it. It was very haunting. It was scary. The visual look of it was in many ways very haunting. The voice, I don't know if I was too crazy about. But at the same time, this is a reimagining of this world. I don't know how I feel about it, and that's the best way I can put it. It's not that I didn't like it. I liked it a lot. That's one thing I do know. But there was something that just felt off, and I don't know exactly what that was. But like I said, Bill Skarsgard, the guy's a G. He's such a great actor. He is NOSFERATU, and I loved his performance, but there was just something that was missing. I don't know if it was an internal bias I had going in wanting to watch this movie, or was this something that, I don't know, something just didn't click with me as much as maybe Pennywise did. But again, these are different movies, so I have to be fair to Robert, Bill, everyone as well. Besides that, very nitpicking stuff. There really wasn't anything else that I didn't like about this movie. Like I said, this movie is a painting. It is a visual masterclass. And I was lucky enough to actually watch this movie, special screening, thanks to our friends here in Canada from Universal Pictures Canada, Focus Features, who got me and my brother in for a special advanced screening. And it was a packed house, and energy was so high in that theater because of how beautiful and how tense and how creepy the atmosphere was. So a big shout out to my friends at Universal Pictures Canada, Focus Features, and of course, Touchwood PR for inviting me to the screening. So for all of those who are watching for the very first time, welcome. And for those who are past watchers and subscribers, welcome to you as well. You guys know how I rank my movies. It's not based off of a star system or a number value. It's one of three things. Is this a movie theater movie? Is this a streaming movie? Or is this like a rainy day movie where you kind of just throw it on because you have nothing else you want to watch and you're on your phone half the time? This is a movie theater movie for me. This is meant to be seen on the big screen. This is meant to be seen with the loud theater audio. This is a great time at the movies. The eeriness and atmosphere of this film alone is worth the price of admission. And I loved this movie. I thought it was such a great movie, such great acting, such great work from Robert Eggers. Again, I don't know if it's my favorite Robert Eggers movie ever because I did have a few nitpicking things that maybe didn't work for me. But hey, I know this movie is going to do really well. And most importantly, I hope everyone attached to this movie gets all the love and praise that they deserve, because this movie is a visual delight. Best looking movie I've seen all year. And I would say, I don't know if this cracks my top 10 movies of the year, but it's damn close. And if this was the last movie I watched in the movie theater this year, which it looks like it is, I am happy that this was it, because it ended the year off with quite possibly the best looking film I've ever seen. There you have it, guys. That is my review of Robert Eggers' NOSFERATU. Please comment below and do share your thoughts on the film. I would love to hear what you guys thought. Did you like the look of Count Orlok? Did you love the movie? Did you not like the movie? Did you have things that didn't work for you? Please comment below and do share your thoughts. As always, I'd love if you can take 30 seconds out of your day to hit that subscribe button, give this give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell to be caught up with all of my new videos. As always, my name is Talal. Thank you so much for watching Popcorn and Soda, and I will see you next time.